Today we're going to talk to you about 13 Fishing Concept C. Payne from Kayak Bass Fishing Magazine, Kayak Fishing Blog, and the new PayneOutdoors.com. Today we're going to talk to you about 13 Fishing Concept C. Now, I was able to get out on the water and actually put this reel through the paces. There was plenty of wind, so testing it against the wind and with the wind, we were able to do that, which is always a great thing because you want to test it in harsher conditions if you can, because if it performs there, it's going to perform on those bluebird skies with no wind, calm water days. So let's dive right into it. Things I like about this reel. There are so many adjustment points on the spool tensioner knob. Time you hear a click, that's one more adjustment that you can make. So what that tells me as an angler is I can really dial in this spool to the exact amount of tension that I need so that I can cast long distances. That was the other thing that was bore out in our testing on the water today. I started with a 3/8 ounce spinnerbait and double-bladed willow leaf spinnerbait with a small trailer, and I was able to throw that thing to the moon. It was really impressive, really impressive, really impressive. I haven't thrown that bait that far on other reels before. This one straight out of the gate impressed me with distance. Distance is not a problem on this reel. Some of the specs were actually pretty impressive as well. This is an aluminum frame, so it doesn't weigh just a whole lot. Actually, I'm not even sure if it tells. Oh, 6.2 ounces. It's a lightweight reel, which is really nice. The other thing that caught me off guard, and not in a bad way, but in a good way, this reel is rated for saltwater and freshwater. You can fish this in the salt, you can fish it in your freshwater, and that way you don't have to buy multiple reels if you don't want to. And then the next question is, well, yeah, but a bull red's going to tear that thing up, it's going to burn out the drag. Well, here's the other thing. It's got 22 pounds of drag built into this reel. Let's talk about a couple of things that I wasn't too crazy about. First thing is kind of a nitpicky thing. The Cork Handles. I know a lot of guys like these, but their shape, if you can see that, it kind of comes up more than I'm used to on a normal paddle, and when I'm reeling in, it hits me in a weird place, and so it's not a natural feel to me. Again, that can be complete preference, and you may not notice it. I just felt like it wasn't a natural feeling knob. Wasn't a huge fan of the Cork. The other thing, and this one's not quite as nitpicky, is this latch right here. So if I want to adjust my braking system, I have to actually open the side. And I realize they probably did that because it's saltwater rated and they want to, seal up the reel as much as possible. But this latch to open this thing is a daggum beast. So this is called a beetle wing door, so it slides forward, and then you can make your adjustments on the spool. Now, here's something else I discovered the hard way, is when you do that, when you open that up, that spool wants to jump out of there, and if the spool jumps out of there and you've got line on there, it can loop underneath it, and so then you'll put it back together and it's going to kind of grind. So you've got to make sure that you hold that spool in place when you're making the adjustments. And so you can just turn that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's a 0 in there too if you want it free. I typically like mine on 2, so I set it to 2. I'm still holding it, and then I close that back, and okay. And now it's sealed back up, and the spool spins. I know that is important in the salt, because if you get anything into those internal components, it can start to cause problems. So you got to make sure you seal that back up. When I was out today and I made a couple of adjustments just to see what it was like to adjust it on the water, I didn't get that all the way closed, and a little bit of water got in there, and that spool made a god-awful noise when I cast it. So I opened it back up, blew out the water, put it back together, and all was right in the world again. But if you're fishing saltwater, that could be potentially problematic. So you have got to make sure you get that door all the way closed. Overall, it's a very, very good reel. 9 ball bearings, 22 pounds of drag, 6.2 ounces, so lightweight frame, but a workhorse. For guys who are looking to buy, one reel that they'll be able to use in saltwater and freshwater, this is an absolute steal. An absolute steal. An absolute steal. 22 pounds drag, that lightweight, you're going to be able to fish it in multiple applications and not have to worry about completely, babying your reels when you're in the salt. Because if you take a freshwater rated only reel to the salt, it does bad things. I think it's going to be a really good reel for a lot of guys that are looking to buy 3 or 4 or 1 or 2 that will do everything that they need.